Bonnie is there.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon and welcome to Trail Talk. We're so glad you could join us today. Yes, it's true. You see some familiar faces. Gina Flesher is back. She was just here a few weeks ago with the Chisholm Trail Arts Council. Today, she's here as a board member for the Gabriel's House Foundation. And this is Miss Bonnie Talley. Bonnie has been here before as well. She's the founder of Gabriel's House. And, that's a pretty familiar name. Do you think a lot of people around town know or they've heard of Gabriel's House?
I think up until the last couple of years, and so many people have been moving into Stevens County from other places, that I encounter people at places like Garden Town and stuff, and they go, if I have my shirt on, they'll go, what's Gabriel's House? And so there are new people in Duncan that don't know about Gabriel's House.
Don't know. So this is good.
Yes.
So
yes.
But the Gabriel's House and Gabriel's House Foundation are two separate organizations, entities.
Yes.
Okay, two separate entities. And we're going to focus on the foundation today but before we do that, just kind of briefly explain what Gabriel's House is, because the foundation, even though they're separate entities, they're still tied together.
Yes.
So just go real quick, the, elevator ride.
Yes. Gabriel's House is a nonprofit after-school program for originally at-risk latchkey kids, but just kids that need a little bit of extra help. And we are a Christian-based program. We do not teach any doctrine, but we help children with their homework. We give them a nutritious snack. We do art and music and all kinds of enrichment things with them, just to kind of bring them up to the place where the other kids in healthy families sometimes.
Right. Okay. And so, and you have kind of a limited amount of space.
A very limited amount of space.
So about how many students are you able to serve?
Right now we've got 75 in Duncan, and we've got 25 at Empire. And the biggest issue that we have is we don't have a gym or a dining room or a kitchen, and we do feed the kids a meal every day, but we just have to feed it in their classrooms. And we're lacking space more than anything.
Right. Now, you may think, 75 kids in Duncan, 25 in Empire. That sounds like a lot of children. It is a large number of children, but it's just a drop in the bucket of the number of children who have the same need. Gabriel's House can fill this need for many more children than just 75 in Duncan. And so I think this is maybe where the foundation comes in. So let's talk about then the Gabriel's House Foundation. What is that, and how is it? Explain what that is so we'll know why it's different from Gabriel's House. One of you.
Well, I think that Bonnie can tell the story best, but it's been in existence since 2018. And it came about after Gabriel's House fundraiser that year, which is always their annual art show in June. And that evening, Bonnie really told the audience for Dream. I'll call them audience or participants, all the people in the crowd. And she could tell that best because from that, she began to kind of collect people she knew have had a long love for Gabriel's House. And so I'll let Bonnie tell you that because I think that's the magic of why the foundation came to be.
Right. Okay.
Well, the dream is so much bigger than where we're at today. And obviously, we're just taking care of kids for just a couple of hours every day. But we would like to expand our program and do summer programming and have a lot of other options available. And so we just have this huge dream to have our own facility where we can do things when we want to do them. We could share this space with other nonprofits also. The facility that we want to build has a gym with a stage in it, like a grade school gym, so that we could do productions and do all the different physical activities that we used to do that we don't have a place to do anymore. So it's a big dream. And that's what the foundation is all about, is to make this dream become a reality of building this building, owning this building, managing this building, and helping keep this building alive and funded. And so that's what the foundation is completely about. Can you tell her the mission statement?
Well, it's on the back of my shirt. Would you like to read it?
I will gladly
Just read it, right?
Okay, so this is the Gabriel's House Foundation mission statement. Providing a lasting home for Gabriel's House Incorporated to support its mission and its purpose. So the foundation is coming along to undergird Gabriel's House and allow it to expand and grow and make it, you said we're not close to the dream. Well, that's what makes it a dream to me, Bonnie, is that it's big, it's bigger and grander and seems out there a little ways. And so that's why you guys are doing the things that you're doing to incrementally get to that place. Now you said you don't have a gym or a place to do those kinds of things anymore. That's because Gabriel's House started in little houses. Yes. Then it went to the schools where there was a gym and a cafeteria and places like that. And then now it's in another building, the one in Duncan for sure. Is
the old middle school.
The old middle school.
Right.
And so it's just really classroom space there. Yes. Again,
yes.
But more smaller, kind of like the house.
There is a gym there, but the wrestling program in Duncan has remodeled that gym, and they use it just for their purposes. So we're not able to use that facility.
Right. So there are. You're servicing also children what age? I don't think we
kindergarten through 5th.
Okay, so your elementary age kids who need a chance to run and play and yell and jump and tumble and whatever else they want to.
Well, and it's all on one level. Right now it's 2 levels, and the very smalls have to go up some steps to get to things. And anytime you take children onto steps, they're not paying attention, you're at risk for falls. Right. And it's just going to be lovely to make it be all one level. Each person has their own nice sized room. There's a specific art room that's easy to get to. There'll be a chapel. There'll be a counselor's office for those children who need some really extra special attention, with some privacy getting to that in the chapel, so that they don't necessarily have to always be seen by someone. If they leave a classroom, they can actually exit out another way. There'll be a beautiful kitchen to cook in with big deep freeze and dishwasher ability to have functions there. Right. Right now, currently, they host their fundraiser for Gabriel's House at a place that they have to pay money to rent. How beautiful it would be not to have to move. Not to have to move things that can be collected there, and that things can be stored there. And it's going to be a big savings of manpower too. I mean, it's for the children, right? Core purpose is them, but how beautiful to make it so much better too.
Exactly. And so you guys are on, I guess you're in the fundraising stage. There is a drawing, right? And architecture.
Here in my little brochure. Would you like to see
yes,
it?
Let's see that.
On the inside, this is the layout, and then on the outside is an artist's rendition of what it might look like.
What it could look like.
Things might move, you know that.
Right.
There you go.
Yes. So, okay. So we have a floor plan here, and can you zoom in on this floor plan for me there a little bit, please?
Betty can.
There you go. So you can see I'm moving it down because there's a little box on my screen that I couldn't see where it was, but you can see large rooms, smaller rooms, and a pretty good size. How big is this?
It's 29,000 square feet.
29,000 square feet.
It's like an elementary school.
And so, okay. So what's your number, your goal for the number of children you want to be able to serve?
150 in Duncan, maybe something like that. It's never been about numbers as much as it is about the quality of what you're trying to do. But we would love to have adequate size classrooms and dining facilities and stuff for 125.
Okay, 125. Well, and I don't mean, that necessarily, but just to give people an idea of how you practically doubling
Yes.
the number of
Oh,
children
absolutely.
that you want to
And the
serve.
beauty of it
Amber,
is-
here's a picture of
The exterior.
the exterior of
It'll
it.
have
the
a bus
grounds.
barn. You can't quite see it probably with your picture there, but there's an opportunity for
drive-through,
a.
of course.
Yeah,
have a
you
bus
guys may not be able to see it, but you know what? If you don't see it, maybe you could come to the event that we're about to talk about. The
Absolutely.
reason there is a brochure. And so let's talk about that, because that's where we are now. You have the dream, you have the
Land.
land. Oh, you have the land.
We purchased the land.
Okay.
It's at the highest point in Duncan. It's 945 West Elk, and it's directly north of the big water tanks on 10th Street.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the, well, it is the highest point in Duncan.
And it's just west of Elk Crossing
Yes.
as well,
Yes,
right? It's
yes.
up here, and then you kind of go down.
Directly
to-
across from the water.
Uh-huh,
tower's there.
yeah.
Mhm.
Which is, I mean, a lovely place
Well,
to have that.
and it's Chickasaw land. And that's really neat because we do some things with the Chickasaw Nation already.
Ah,
But that land belonged to a woman who helped me start Gabriel's house.
mm-hmm.
And it was her grandfather's endowment from the Chickasaw Nation.
Ah, historical then. It's a historical.
perfect
piece.
place.
And what
It
did
is.
she always say she wanted that land to be used for?
Her nephew was in Duncan a couple of weeks ago, and he wanted to see and wanted to know what that land was going to be used for.
Mhm.
And he said, my Aunt Barbara always said she wouldn't sell it because she wanted it to be used for the children.
Well, there you go. She had a dream too.
She did.
She had a dream as well.
It was sacred to her.
Mhm. Oh, right, absolutely.
So I think she's up in heaven saying, whoa, go for it.
Right, exactly. And I love that Gabriel's house has a partnership with the Chickasaws. And
Yes.
you know, they are really important to the community. I mean, they invest a lot
Yes.
around here. And so we're very fortunate to have their representation here. And I love it that they are supporting you guys. So this is a very nice brochure, ladies. Why did you make this?
Well, okay, so my role on the board
Yes.
is not only just being a board member, but I'm in charge of fundraising, which involves grant writing, personal giving. We had this brochure roll out in December, end of year giving, and felt like we needed to just brush it up a little bit. And we've tried 3 times to have live fundraisers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you may know, and you may not know, that I'm a nurse at the hospital, and I watched the COVID numbers very closely over the course of the last couple of years. And in good faith, we felt like we just could not host something live, particularly since we know when people gather and have a good time, they're close together.
Right.
So
right.
it just kept getting pushed back, but we think this is perfect in God's timing to host our very first live fundraiser, which is next Thursday, September the 8th.
1 week from today.
Yes, it's going to be a fall praise festival, just
Uh-huh.
what it says it is. We will praise and worship that night. All of our artists that are coming are all locals.
Uh-huh.
If they don't live here, they lived here.
Right.
And I'll tell you more about them as you desire. But in saying all that, New Hope has just opened their doors to us. Pastor Randy Sutherland has been so gracious and has shared it with his congregation, as well as he has provided us his tech people that night. It's just going to be beautiful. They have a lot of the musical instruments that we'll need for some of our praise and worship teams, so we don't have to bring in drums and a keyboard, and they're willing to loan those to us. So it was just a match made in heaven.
Right. Okay, so then the schedule of everything for that evening is what?
Well, it's exciting. We'll open at 6:30.
Okay.
And we'll sell tickets at the door only. No advance sales. We do have the opportunity to take cash, or we can take cards, debit or credit. We've
Uh-huh.
made arrangements for that, provided for that through our account. We have one entrance so that people will funnel that direction. We can get them seated. It seats close to 1,000 people, so it'd be nice to fill it.
Right, and this will be in the auditorium
We
of
will,
the church.
actually,
Okay.
in the sanctuary itself.
Uh-huh.
We know that we have a special treat to begin with, which I don't want to give everything away because we want people to come.
Right. right.
But of course, Randy will greet everyone.
Mhm.
And then we do have some very special talent coming. We will begin our evening with a trio who will have a guest vocalist. And I'll let Bonnie tell you a little bit more about them, but it's Jared Smith and the Culbersons, and there's a very special connection with the Culbersons. Why don't you tell them about that rather than me jump ahead?
Quentin Culberson, who is Larry Culberson's son, was an employee at Gabriel's house for several years, and he did what we called Jam, Jesus and Me, which was crazy, wild, wonderful music with the kids. And of course, Quentin has died, and so it will be partially a tribute to him too, because his brother and his dad are both going to be playing that night.
Oh,
And that's
how
great.
wonderful. I love that.
And they
I love
played
that
quite
so
a bit,
much.
correct me if I'm wrong, at the well
Yes.
with Jared
Yes.
Smith. So they already know each other and they're coming. And then we understand they have a guest vocalist coming. I don't know a name even myself, so it's a secret for me too.
Oh,
So
okay.
we'll unfold that night.
Awesome.
And then following them, I just got all this kind of coordinated with Brent Hale that's out there because he's so helpful with everything, making sure the flow goes well. You know, it's not really my forte is planning events like that, but
Right.
if you got good help, you got it.
Exactly.
Then the Wharton sisters will come, Maribel and Annabelle. Very talented young ladies. They play the violin.
Yes.
They played, one plays the harp, Maribel plays the harp and the piano. So they'll entertain us for a while. And then two other sisters will be joining them and they're going to accompany them for a song. And those two sisters' names are Danielle Flesher Webb and Alyssa Flesher.
Any relation
Well,
to you,
yes, and
Gina?
both those girls have music majors and they actually sing on a praise and worship team in Oklahoma City at their church and they're coming down special that evening.
Awesome.
They themselves did not attend Gabriel's house, but have grown up with Gabriel's house in their life.
Right.
As I've been Bonnie's kind of sideline helper for many of those years that the girls were here. And then we'll close the evening with the Impact 580 Praise Band. We're not sure who all is coming for certain, but
Right.
we will know when they come that night. They've been picking their songs and pretty much everyone's told me what they'll be doing for their music. And you know, the most incredible thing is there's not a single repeat and none of them talk to each other.
Wow.
Amazing. So you're going to be filled up with some praise.
Oh, that is
A
wonderful.
lot of variety.
Yes, what a great.
We promised to be done by 8 p.m.
Okay.
Now I'm the MC and I know I can talk a lot, but I will have a script and we will stick to it. We just will fill the time with letting them transition with musical instruments.
Right.
Giving a few of
Right.
these details and things we've been telling you today,
Mhm.
because we need people to understand we're friend-raising and fundraising that night. You know, there's a fee to get in the door,
Mhm.
which is really a bargain. And then we will be sharing our brand new brochure that evening and talking about the opportunity to do some naming in there, memory of, honor of.
Very
You can
good.
pledge over time. We have it on the back where it's very easy to fill out where they can do a one-time donation or they can have a monthly recurrence where they can debit.
Mhm.
And then the beauty is I'll let Bonnie tell you about it in the end, when the monies are raised, we're ready to put the spade in the dirt to begin when we're finished. We're going to have a way to honor those based on levels of giving. So I'll just turn
And
this.
so what will that look like?
Well, we'll just turn to it and Bonnie can talk about
Oh,
it. How's that?
okay, okay.
Right here, Miss Bonnie. Do you think I know the brochure? pretty well?
Yeah,
She knows
right.
the brochure. Okay, so do you want me to talk? Oh, the wings.
Yes, absolutely. That's all
Well, you know,
yours.
since Gabriel's house is an angel, obviously,
Right.
and we've always had angel wings, part of our logo.
Mhm.
But anyway, if you don't, or if you do name a room after someone, there will also be wings
Mhm.
inside the building
Uh-huh.
with feathers. And according to the level that you give, the size of your feather will be smaller or larger,
Mhm.
and your names will be on permanent display in the building forever.
Very nice.
And that's better than naming the room itself with the name. And the reason being, you know, over time, things change.
right.
And if you would end up with needing to morph your space a little bit, you start putting so-and-so dedicated the first grade room, and then that's not the first grade room anymore. So
Right.
doing it this way leaves it a little more flexible for us as we move in and we have to flex your space. We know we will.
Exactly, exactly. A lot of forethought.
Oh, yes.
Is going into all of this, which makes it very nice as well. So, do we know what the cost is at the door for the ticket?
Oh, yes, $20 per ticket to get in.
Oh, that is very
Oh, very.
reasonable.
Especially, which you're really going to hear a true Christian concert by people
Right.
who are very good in music. I'll just say the Wharton sisters, for example, they played Carnegie Hall before.
Oh, exactly.
And
Right.
Danielle Flesher, Flesher Webb, she's married now.
Yeah.
She sang for 6 years on Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines. And so she's in the entertainment industry. Now, when you're singing to God, you're not entertaining, you're worshiping.
Right.
Which is what we want everybody to realize is the focus. And
Right.
every group has said they would love it if people know their words to sing along. Absolutely.
Right. But I think what you're pointing out is that the quality of the performances.
Yes. Oh, very much so.
It will be a very high quality of
$20 is a bargain.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, I mean, you know, you spend about $20 to go to the movies.
Well, let me say a little caveat for the church too, in knowing that this was taking place. They had it budgeted and planned to improve some of their sound system. They've made sure that's happened before we arrived.
Oh, how nice.
That was in our meeting with Pastor Randy. I was like, oh my gosh, I mean, it gave me goosebumps to think that they thought it was important enough to make sure that it was just bumped up a little bit on that level.
Right. How nice. That's great. That is a great thing. So $20, and then people will have an opportunity. Then they'll all have a brochure and they can make another commitment. That night, I guess, or later.
If they can mail it in, the post office box is right on here, 145. And
okay.
We've made it where they can take off this back cover and still have the rest for themselves. It simply takes the wing piece off, but all the rest of the information is right there.
And so what kind of information is in here?
Oh my goodness. Well, let's see. We did not list the board of directors, only because, you know, boards are always ever changing with term limits and to be pulled away.
Right.
But it's the story of Gabriel's house, a bit about what Bonnie told, how it was birthed in the beginning. And then we go into what programming we do with the actual Gabriel's house program, the different areas. And if you turn to the next page, then it's that beautiful layout you showed. But we've now listed some rooms on here as far as what it would take to put your name on a room.
Okay.
So, I can't write a check for that much money, but could I pay it out over time? Our expectation is we will see, which is at our next board meeting, we'll do that, which is soon, on the maximum amount of time to pay out. Because the reason for that is, you know, you've got to collect your funds if you say you're not going to bill till you have them. So we would want people to obligate upfront and have that paid out in a shorter amount of time than over 10 years. That's way far out there, but it's just an example.
Right.
So that we're sure we have the funding.
Yes.
And then there are different levels, and this isn't all of them in this brochure either. There are others we just listed kind of categorically by the different ranges, but we've got some that are even lower on scale, like about $8,000. People would say, well, that's not a very exciting room. Well, you know, it's really not about the room. It's about the love for the program.
Exactly. But every room is necessary.
Yes.
Every room is necessary.
Even the janitor's closet.
Exactly. I mean, you have to have all of it. It's like your body. You need every little part of your body, and some are more exposed and more important, you know, as others, but it takes the whole thing. And it's the same way with this.
And there won't be any fighting over restrooms because there are plenty to put your name on it. That's your special room.
Right.
You know, we did have to look ahead too a little bit with this next go round of this brochure. We knew we needed playgrounds, and we failed to put those on our first rendition of the brochure because how beautiful that would be for someone who was really finding that to touch their heart. We added storm shelters on here because that's going to be mandated that we have to have them.
Right.
To put them inside requires so many more regulations, and so they're just going to have to be outside. But how nice to have a shelter even for the community.
Yes.
If something should happen, and there would be a way to connect that with our emergency system here where they can let people go to shelter in the morning.
Right.
So we're very flexible with the whole thing. You know, it's not like it's belongs to Gabriel's house. It will be a community center really for many more things, as Bonnie alluded to.
Right. Other nonprofits.
They won't be able to house there because there's not space for that, but what they'll be able to do is maybe use that space. And we know we want to use it in the evening. Our parenting classes need to be similar. You know, for the children to have help, you also need to encourage the parents. Right. And so how beautiful to be able to offer some counseling services for them in the evening in a place that you can get to.
So it sounds like maybe there are going to be some other, are there going to be additional like salaries that are going to need to be covered in the future with this?
Well,
you spoke of having a counselor and
with
people like that.
With bigger things come bigger dollar amounts. But
exactly.
remember, that's Gabriel's House programming through the Gabriel's House program. The foundation's job is to build a facility, and then any extra funds would go to an endowment that would be sitting there accruing interest. The interest then could be moved over to the spending account to take care of a broken refrigerator.
Right.
But I don't really see the foundation's role would be for
salaries and things like
that.
that.
How nice it is to know that if it's there and it can be written that way, futuristic.
Right. Well, and that's all true. But I do think it's important to note that this bigger facility providing more services, that you are going to have an opportunity to have other professionals, pouring into these children, pouring into their parents, and just making everything better, just making it better all the way around for the families that you guys are able to serve.
Well, the space right now is leased. It's not given free. So if you think about that,
the space you're currently using,
that's correct. It's being leased. It's not just free for all over there. And to know that it's going to be a bigger space, yes, we know utilities will be an issue, but if you build a building well, then you know that you also can make sure that happens in a good way, so that you don't have exorbitant, utilities and things.
Right.
And the fact that gymnasium's there, that could also be futuristically. You can't take on everything at once. That space could, with the right person being in charge, won't be Bonnie and it won't be the board. There'll probably have to be eventually someone who oversees that building, then could lease building. There's a lot of things that could happen. It's just also big right now, because one thing I've heard a lot from people, why would you build such a big place and spend that much money for something only used for these months that school is in session and for only 3 hours a day? But you see, the dream is much bigger.
Yes.
And that's the point. We want everyone to understand. It's not just after school.
Right.
It's bigger.
Well, I think, Bonnie, you mentioned a summer program.
We would love to have some.
Right. That would just be phenomenal.
Can't you see different youth groups coming in and doing a week of Bible school with some kids?
Absolutely. I mean, I think the potential is really huge.
My mind goes spinning crazy thinking about all the ways that the building can be
I have
used.
to rein her in.
And the way it's designed is you've got your classrooms on one end, and they can be locked off from the other part of the building, the dining room, the kitchen, and the gym. And so you could have things in that part of the building, the activity part of the building, that the people would never even have to go into the classroom, the Gabriel's House part, if it wasn't necessary.
Right.
So there's a lot of, that makes it open to a lot more possibilities as far as who could use it.
Right. I mean, I love it. I'm kind of a dreamer. And so I love listening to all of these ideas. So it kind of brings me though to the place. So what is your, what is the board agreed to? Like, do you have to have all of the funding before you break ground? And are you going to be able to build the whole thing before you decide to break ground, or kind of what are
$1 million question?
So you guys are still feeling your way through that.
And I'll tell you, this is why this fundraiser is so important to us. We must show community support behind this before we're really eligible for some grants that could bring us some larger dollars.
Okay, right.
And that's where we have been stuck because of not being able to actually host something live. It's one thing to receive that letter in the mail and a brochure, but to actually come and hear the story, see the passion, have this brochure in front of you, have it explained, and understand that, yes, ideally, I'll go back to the youth shelter when it was built all those years ago.
Yes.
We weren't going to build until the money was in hand. Well, this is a much larger facility. We're talking, this is millions of dollars, more than 1 million.
Right.
We don't know really how many million. We know though that it's all the requirements are big for some of the things that are so expensive for safety, that we really want to be close to our target.
Right.
So that money, as it grows within our account, will be invested able to be liquid money for us though, because we need to be able to get to it to do the project.
Right.
So we've provided some committees that are kind of sitting in the background, it kind of had to be on hold. You can't have a building committee and not be working on building.
Right.
But we have some very interested people in our community that's been their love in life, and they're retired from that, and they're willing to step forward and be our consulting volunteer committee. So we know we'll have much to do as we move forward with bids and making sure that we're getting the things that we need. We know that in-kind donations are always welcome. I'll give you an example of an in-kind. We had a car donated to us. Well, it was a vintage car with special little things with it. It had a little work had to be done, and we were very full disclosure on everything with it. And we had a friend that helped us with an auction, and that car was sold, and then that's more money already towards the basket full of money, so to speak.
Yes.
As we move into building, the same could be with in-kind. If someone says, you know what, I'll pour all your concrete for cost. What a beautiful gift.
Yeah.
That's just one idea I can think of. Now that's a lot of concrete.
Yeah, right, right. But yes, I mean, the idea is out there. And, I don't know if we can impress enough the importance of this program. How many years has Gabriel's house been?
25.
25 years.
25 years.
25 years of children who have had adults pouring into them after school every day, in helping them with their homework, sharing the love of Jesus, giving them opportunities, the enrichment, just all of these things that and you've had some who went through Gabriel's house and then came back to work at Gabriel's house.
And we've had second generation Gabriel's house children now for the last 5 years.
Right.
And it's really wonderful that the parent loved the program enough that they wanted their kids to come to it.
Yes. It's just a beautiful picture of what a community can do to invest in the lives of their children.
The future of Duncan.
Exactly.
Well, the best part, I think, of the whole evening will actually be at the end. Miss Bonnie will be in the lobby, the narthex of the church. And she has a very special thing right here that she will be signing. Miss Bonnie, you get to hold this because it's you. And I'm sure that we can get a close-up of that as well.
Okay, so it is called Safe in His Wings. I love the art.
Ben Harrington.
It's got the Ben Harrington look to it. He's been a really generous donor of those angels for that auction.
Yes.
That was like the first year of COVID or something. Yes. We had to buy things online.
Yes. We had 30. He had made those angels were the table centerpieces for our fundraiser. And then when we couldn't have it, we auctioned them off.
Yes.
And some of us lucky ones actually got to auction and get one.
You're right. I was able to snatch one of those.
But this is the book written by Bonnie, and this is the story, her story of Gabriel's house.
There's
the programming portion.
I think Ben has 7 illustrations in here. I would just tell him about a chapter, and he would just come up with something that was just perfect.
Oh, wow.
And it concludes with Bonnie's dream. Again, she talks about it because she finished this book while the foundation was formed in 18. And it's the very final chapter. And we know that the next chapter is yet to be written. She may have to have a second book.
Volume 2. Volume 2.
She will be signing these. These will be available for sale at the end. They are $40 with the proceeds going towards Gabriel's house being built.
Perfect.
Oh, there's quite the story about that bird.
I said that the artwork in it is worth buying.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Yes. This is lovely. Bonnie, I guess you guys were at the chamber breakfast this morning, sharing about the foundation fundraiser. And my husband went and he's like, "Hey, have you read Bonnie's book?" I said, "No, but I think I'd better get one."
Well, I haven't. I could hardly lay it down. I've lived here for 31 years and I've been connected to Bonnie for about 24 of those 25 years through originally when it was in the church on the home. And I felt like I lived it through reading her words because I recognized so many of the people she spoke about. Many of them have gone on to heaven, but they were a big part of Gabriel's House support. You know, I call Bonnie's like the backbone, but you got to have all these parts to make your backbone be full of life. And that's so many of these people that she mentions in here were very instrumental in Gabriel's House succeeding.
Well, I tell you, I'm very excited about the possibilities, about the promise for the future. I mean, this is very exciting, and I am just so thrilled, Bonnie, for you to be able to dream a dream, articulate that dream, and share that with other people in a way that makes them want to be a part of that dream being fulfilled. I mean, and that's what you've been able to do. And I know you surround yourself with a lot of supportive people, but the dreamer has to be there, and you have to be able to say so that other people can catch it, you know. And our community, I know I've told you this before.
Community.
Well, but we have been so blessed by you and viewers. If you have a dream, if you have a vision of something, see what can happen. Look at what's happened 25 years of Gabriel's House. I mean, it's just been such an investment, and I'm just so grateful.
The foundation also has a Facebook page. So I know that this is Facebook Live, and so you all can go and look up Gabriel's House Foundation. Don't look up Gabriel's House because that's the programming. And go there, and we certainly have this posted there, our fundraiser next week on September 8th. As well as there's a video on there from way back when Bonnie was interviewed by Channel 7, Walking the Land. So go and hear more about that spiritual moment when she talks about it, because it still sits there on Facebook. I went and double checked the other day.
That's wonderful.
So,
and viewers also, if this is something you're passionate about, you can share this same interview on your Facebook page, and we can get the word out and just kind of spread it so that they have a full house. How amazing would it be if there were
standing room only?
Yes,
I've seen it, 1,000 people or more.
I love it. I think it would be amazing. Next Thursday, September the 8th at 6:30.
Yeah,
that's when the doors open.
Well, the concert will start. They will open the doors a little after 6.
Okay,
and it's open seating. There's no reserve. When I say that, we'll be prepared to be able to let people come in and get seated. We want to start at 6:30. So
okay, all right.
We'll come early.
Be finished by 8. Now you may not get, if you want to buy one of these books, you may not be able to get home by 10 after 8 because there could be a line of people waiting to get these books that Bonnie has, a copy of the book that you've written, Bonnie. But I hope that this catches fire and that this dream is a reality in a short amount of time. I really do. The children are waiting.
Yes.
The children in our community are waiting.
And I'm not getting any younger.
I think she looks pretty
I
good.
think you're holding it pretty well there, Bonnie.
Well, we thank you so much for having us today, because the only way you get the word out is to have people invite you to share. We know that today's social media is the biggest way to get information out. So I'm going to go right out and tag this myself and share.
Yes, absolutely. And it's free. You know, it's free, a free way to share something like this. And so, yes, you guys, if you had plans for Thursday night, change those plans. You can
if it's an outdoor sport activity, we're going to pray it rains.
Yeah, like it is right now. I think I hear it pouring out there.
Exactly right.
Anyway, ladies, thank you so much. I hope this thing is just amazing and just packed out and so fruitful. I hope it is a very fruitful evening. And we can't wait to see what the foundation does next. Because I
see like you there to get a book for your husband.
That's right. Yeah, I think you guys are being very creative and having something a little bit different for your fundraiser. And so this is going to be. We
hope it'll be an annual event.
Yes, for
because
sure.
There's a lot of talent here that sings good praise music, and we would love to have other people contact us for a future concert. I don't really want to call it a concert. It's really a praise festival.
Right.
And bringing the Christian community together is really a neat thing anytime we can do that.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right, exactly. Well, thank you all so much for watching. Please share this. Please make plans to go, or just if you absolutely can't, get your hands on one of these and figure out how much you want to give in support of Gabriel's House Foundation, which in turn supports Gabriel's House, which is the rubber on the road part of this whole program. And you know, I don't know if there are going to be any books left after Thursday.
There might not be.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. Maybe there'll be a reprint. I don't know, but you're probably going to want to get your hands on one of those. So anyway, thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week. And ladies, it's time to say happy trails.
It is.
You ready? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Happy trails.